Hello, friends. It's Gigi, and thank you for joining our channel. This channel is going to be for adults, so I'm making my first video. Those who've been with me for a while have been with me on TikTok and different things like that, and they've gotten a very, very censored version of my life. Now, I have several other YouTube accounts, just like I have several personalities. So let's start there. Hi, my name is Sabrina, originally a VC. I've gone by many names. I was in the U.S. Navy and I went by Sabrina Golden, although that was never my legal name. So I was in the U.S. Navy under an assumed name, which people should be worried about, but nobody ever seemed to be worried about it. So why would I be worried? Besides, I didn't even really know my name anyway. I'm recently finding out my real names. So if you knew me as Sabrina VC, you probably knew me from the ages of young to about 15, 16. Around that time, by the time I graduated from high school, my last name was Golden. Not officially, because I never didn't think that you needed to go to the Social Security office. Nobody told me I was a kid that I needed to go to the Social Security office to officially change my last name. But the courthouse in Texas did it anyway. I'm going to take a quick pause because anybody also knows that this is also in the midst of woman versus wardrobe. And you'll find out that why my wardrobe is like this. Right now it's in black and white. But this is not my bedroom. This is my dressing room. And my dressing room gets really, really bad. So enough about that. Sometimes I have a hard time getting into it, and I don't like to post the same videos when I'm doing new channels. So I can give you an experience of what it was like. Let me give me a second. Hold on. Okay. So I was born in 1978. And for those of you who worry about me giving out my last name and stuff, people know too much information, believe me, my stuff has already been exposed on Experidian and everything else. So if I was too concerned about people getting a hold of my information, I probably wouldn't be so public, would I? So, that being said, I'm looking for Kenners. I was born to Christine Kenner and to Lee VC. Christine Kenner is from Memphis, Tennessee. Excuse me. That's my mother. And it comes to find out we're like second generation Nigerian on her side. So mother's line didn't come from originally from slavery. They came here later, but they came from severe poverty. So born to Christine and Lee. And the backstory on my mother is she is a seventh child. And so she had several other brothers and sisters. All of her brothers and sisters are deceased now. One of the last matriarchs of our family passed away about 3 days ago. She was the last oldest living member of that generation of family. I call that the crack generation because all of them were addicted to crack, and all of us were sold for it. Um, so So she was born to Lee Visi. Lee Visi is a seventh child. He's the seventh child of a seventh child. You guys will realize that numbers mean a lot to us. You'll know that as we're trying to unravel this puzzle together. A lot of you who've been with me on TikTok and on my other YouTube pages that you found through Breaking Codes, you know that we're trying to unravel a puzzle that's bigger than even me, that's been wrapped up for a very long time. But I digress. We'll get onto that later. It's easy for us to get off topic because there's several of us. Have any of you ever heard of dissociative identity disorder? I like the old name it used to be called, but now it has a stigma. It's called multiple personality disorder. It's when you have several distinct personalities living in one body, and due to some of the things that I'm going to tell you about that are quite traumatic, and this comes with a trigger warning from me. If this is not regular child abuse that happened to me. This wasn't just it was the things that happened to me are scarring, which is why I also do a lot of giveaways. In order for us all to get our pain out, we all need to talk about it, right? Even the scarring stuff. Some people don't need to talk about it. Some people can heal and never speak of it. Me, I tried that. It led to drugs. Let's see. You see my shirt? It says, if you bring up my past, you should know that Jesus dropped the charges. Jesus dropped my charges a long time ago, but my past is extraordinarily sordid. But I digress. Off path again. My father is also the result. Comes from a family where the motto was us VCs like to keep it in the family. Yes, incest was rampant everywhere, on every part. I mean, there are a few uncles I know for sure, in the generation that didn't touch their daughters. And there are a few of my uncles and cousins that I know in this generation that have, and may they burn in hell. And yes, I understand that Jesus forgives, but little children, little children, you had access to grown women and you chose babies? You really think you're going to walk in and Jesus is going to forgive that? Do you? Jesus might eventually forgive, just like I eventually forgave my father and numerous other family members for what they did to me. But Jesus doesn't just cast the fact that you screwed kids into the sea of forgetfulness. Don't think that you're on your knees and begging in church and God's going to look at you and not remember what you did to them kids. That's not how it works. It's not a like, I'm going to go put in good works now because I'm old and now my dick don't work no more so I can't fuck kids. Hold on for a second. So, as a result of that madness on my father's side of the family, we have a lot of uncle, brothers, sister, cousins, uncle, mama, baby, dad, brother, daddies. You know what I mean? And because my grandfather, my personal grandfather, thought it would be a good idea to abuse his daughters, and not only abuse his daughters, but get children on them. So they had to. It was very. That's not my story. That's not my story. Okay, just know that I come from a line of incest on, apparently more so on my father's side than my mother's. But my father's side isn't. My mother's side isn't above reproach on that. They were more, I'd say, incest of opportunity. You know what I mean? They see you unprotected. They see you right there, and they're like, okay, convenient. Let me go get it. And so that was more of the incest that I experienced on a regular basis at 9:55 Valentine, the House of Horrors. A lot of this, like I said, you guys are seeing it new. Other people have seen a lot of this already, but I'm going through it because this is what you do. And I found that if I'm still crying about it, if I still have a hard time talking about it, that means I haven't healed from it. So what that makes me do is more determined to heal from it. Finding out little cousins now and little people and people I knew and loved were and still are still being victimized by some of these same individuals who victimized me growing up. Makes me feel like I was just a bit of a coward. And I know it wasn't a coward, guys, because there's nothing coward about us at all, and you'll learn that. There are too many enough of us in here for all of us to be cowards. Let's just say that. So you know the background, the history. Very poor. Texas and Memphis. My family and my dad's side, they're from Texas. My mother's side, they're from Memphis. And so my mother was a little older than my father when they met. And she already had one son. And I suspect she had another child. I'm not sure. That's something I'm still researching. I have a lot of memories of things that I remember more things in my family than my family remembers. Let me tell you that some of them talk to me, and I rarely talk to my family, but when they do talk to me on my phone, they're like, you remember that? I didn't even remember that. Yeah, because part of the trauma, one of the great things about my father was that he was born with an eidetic memory. Absolutely. If it wasn't for the fact that he married somebody absolutely insane, and the fact that he liked to touch, his own little girl, he probably could have been a genius. If you were in the military, you probably have seen some of the manuals, if they still use them. He was an electronics technician in the Navy, and so he even wrote some of the tech manuals in there. Very, very, very intelligent man. Very, very well loved within the family. Everybody in the family loved Bud. I mean, everybody who wasn't in the family. My father is the life of any party that he attends. And my father was also afflicted with a desire to touch his little girl. Now, there's something weird about the VCs. And I don't know if it's just all around. And, since my family don't like to talk about it, I don't know if I'm ever going to find this out. That if they just, because my father said it's more about immediate attraction with your little girls. He told me. Because actually, my father and I talked a lot about him molesting me. We tried to psychoanalyze it as me and a child and an adult trying to psychoanalyze why my father can't keep his hands off my no spots. But that was the depth of our relationship. It's complicated. It's so complicated. It gets far more complicated. Okay. So, where was I? Shit. Complicated. My brother, she already had my brother. And like I said, possibly another, I don't know. My grandmother was still alive. And she almost immediately after my father and her got started dating, like I said, my dad was in the Navy at the time. She got pregnant with my brother Chris. God rest his soul, and I say that unfortunately, my brother died way too young. He died about it always feels like fucking yesterday, doesn't it? But it's been about 4 years now. No, over 4 years. I've been in this house almost. It's been 6 years. He was 40. My father died in his 40s. They die in their 40s. This is the thing about the VCs. We live hard. We die hard. Take a short break. And so Chris, he was born in February of 78. And strangely, my mother got pregnant right after she had Christopher. My dad's in the military. You know how they were like, you're in the Navy, you leave him barefoot and pregnant, you might come home and still have your wife. Well, my dad took that to heart. And so they had Chris. And then she got pregnant with me. And I was born in December. So Chris is in February. I'm in December. Every once in a while, every year we catch up with each other on birthdays. Those are good memories for me. And we're not here to just talk about those yet. And the more I can drive through this pain every single time I'm telling my life story, the stronger I feel. So, and it's not for sympathy. This is never think I'm doing this for sympathy. First of all, I'm telling this because I need to heal. Second of all, I'm telling this because I want you to be able to look out for these things. Because some of these men are still alive. Third of all, I'm telling this because some of you guys need to talk about it too, man. We have to stop making it dark. And a lot of times when I'm doing this, man, I have a lot of tomatoes. And let me tell you what tomatoes are here. Ooh, excuse me. I live in Washington State. It's a legal state. This is just one of the morning bags. I grow pounds and 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 pounds of that. I have pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of that. And I am big about like Shirley Caesar said, no charge. The only thing you have to do is share. Share the videos, like and follow the videos, and when you get a bounty, share with your friends. Don't be stingy. I also have my other friends come on here when they want to and verify. I don't lie. I do exactly what I say I'm going to do, which is why it's very important that we keep our circle small and private. The first time you get somebody in here and you feel like they're not in here for the right reasons, snitching is just fine in here. You know why? Because we don't want anybody snitching about the work we're trying to do as far as making the world understand that it's not going to take money to change your life. It takes us loving each other. And I'm going to love the shit out of you. Anywho, I said that because I'm getting ready to cone it up. It helps, when I'm talking about this type of stuff. It also helps to have a grinder, too, though. But when I'm talking about this type of stuff, to have, place I can go and, oh, God. Oh, that's that cherry soda. That's cherry soda, man. Yeah, a place that, something I can do to, calm the nerves. If you get my drift. Hold on first. Oh, shit, that's sticky. I'm about to find me a grinder. Now, we have an abundance of this, and I roll stupid shit all the time. I actually have a page with called Stupid Shit I Roll. But when I'm getting ready to have like a one-on-one talk, no point in being graceful. I know I'm not gonna smoke the whole thing. I like the pink paper though. You guys have Annabelle now. Mm. Mm. Let's smoke this down for a minute. I'll get back with you. When I tell you we give shit away, we give shit away for real. And we don't give it away to get endure friendship or anything. We know what it's like to be without your medication. For years, medication was extraordinarily expensive for us. We pay up to, what was it, about 10 years ago? We were paying up to, at one point, $1,600 a month for medication. Now, we make all of our medication, and we give away as much as possible. Get into this circle, right? But getting into this circle means you have to prove that you are not a liability. Sometimes that means you have to be vetted. Other times that means we talk. But all the time, know that I'm never going to hurt you. I'm not doing this for my benefit only. Because in the end, it does benefit. The more I give, the more I give, the more I get. The more I give, the more I'm blessed. I believe in servant leadership. I am a servant of God. And that's why I do the things I do. Because if it were not for God's role in my life, I wouldn't even be here right now. I should have been dead when Christine shot me under here. You can still kind of see the scar, and it came out over here. Yes, when I was about 3 years old, my mother saw us being sexually assaulted. So instead of getting angry at the sexual assaulter, she became angry at us. She shot us under here. It came out over here. My father was stationed overseas at that time. He got a phone call that said that he needed to come back immediately from where he was, and he did. And when he questioned me about it, now, mind you, people don't understand. I'm like, oh, you're a kid, you should remember. We were a very articulate child. The first novel we read was Pride and Prejudice, and that was 5 years old. We had an extraordinary memory. We had an extraordinary destiny, and we still do. 1 monkey, 12 monkeys, 12 billion monkeys. As long as they not part of your circus, can't stop the show. Remember that. I don't care whose monkey it is. As long as they not your monkeys, it's not your circus. So, her destiny is still there for the grasp. But with the right parents and this mind of hers, there's so much more we could do, and I feel like it's wasted. And I see a lot of that in a lot of my friends too. I see these friends with powerful minds, powerful magic, powerful insight, and absolutely damaged by the universe because their destiny has been stolen. And your destiny can be stolen. It doesn't mean you can't get it back. But motherfuckers steal. But I digress. This is Annabelle. You'll learn about me more as time goes on. I'm going to give you back to the girls. Hey guys. I'm Pickle. I don't hang out a lot. I'm the person in the body that I'm not the youngest. Everybody thinks that. I'm Pickle, but I'm 7. I'm not the youngest person in here. The youngest person in here is Gigi. And when you guys meet her more, you're going to think maybe she's the oldest. But no. Well, the youngest person isn't actually Gigi. The youngest person in here is Apple. Apple is nonverbal. So most of the time, Apple just lip syncs to music and dances. That's pretty much her life. And we're okay with that. And now we've gotten her some tools, and she builds toys and stuff. You'll get to see everybody's life. Apple has her own channel too, and they all share as they are ready. Hold on for a second. Mommy wants to put on more lipstick. I guess, oh, excuse me. You don't have to hold on. We're not very pretentious, but we do like pretty stuff. And we don't pay a lot of money for pretty stuff because we're also cheap. We don't know how to do our makeup very well, but we love playing in it. And that's all that matters. Everything you do in life is a costume. All the clothes you put on, everything you wear. And why do people wear such boring costumes? I mean, if you're going to have to costume it anyway, you might as well wear a costume you like, right? Well, that's how I feel about it. That's why I have so many brightly colored boots. Now, this dress isn't actually my style. This is more Gigi style. I like my dresses about that much longer. But I digress. We're not here to talk about fashion. I know it hurts for us to talk, and so sometimes we deviate. And I'm not ever mad at us for deviating. But I can't be the one to tell this part. And so I'll give back to me. Here's Gigi. So, anywho, like I said, Christine shot us. My dad came back and she told me this incredible story, right? And she was like, okay, so she made me memorize this at 3. She said that she had a gun and she was trying to clean it. It accidentally discharged. We lived in the projects in Foot Homes. If anybody knows what Foot Homes is, you Memphis, like you Memphis. Foot Homes, not Foot Homes when they had horses and the nice stuff. I'm talking about old Foot Homes, 80s Foot Homes. So we lived in with the concrete floors. So we lived in Foot Homes. And the bullet, she said that she was cleaning her gun. It accidentally discharged onto the floor, bounced off the floor, bounced through my playpen crib thingy, went up my chin and out my cheek. I repeated that same story as if I was a robot for damn near 30 years. And most people I never realized looked at me like I was crazy. Like, that's impossible. Like, that had to be a magic bullet. But I didn't change my story. My mother had drilled that story into me so hard that I didn't know any other story until I got my memories back. And once we got our memories back, that's when we realized that she shot us on purpose because she thought she was going to be sparing us pain that she'd felt. And yes, we've forgiven our mother several times over. And we hope our mother can forgive us for not forgiving her as well as we should have in this lifetime. And that's how humble my soul is. Yes, my mother watched me be hurt. Yes, my mother gave custody of me to my father. I was raised by my molester. My mother was a crackhead. One of the saddest stories I remember is my brother. Well, that's something we'll talk about stuff like that later. We're still going through life story right now. And you see how hard it is to get through a life story. And on TikTok, having to fucking censor yourself all the time instead of just saying, this is for 18 and over, makes it so hard. So I'm going to post there in order to get all my people over here and then lead all my people to the other rooms. And then we can all find the money. Everybody else knows what I'm talking about. And so we need to get here enough to where we can go live and then everybody can know. And if you don't know, it's Asher's Child 7 on TikTok. If you're looking for it. But I don't plan on using TikTok much longer. I am Gen X. I cannot do that censorship. I cannot have somebody telling me what I can and can't say. Right now, nothing I'm saying is incendiary. But I've been banned from TikTok because I guess I don't use words that make people I don't know. So anywho, where were we at? Oh my gosh, this is so cute. This is like a little jacket. You could tell everybody in this body has different clothing taste, which is why we have a dressing room that looks like it's supposed to be, but for several people. Their totes over there full, their clothes over there, and we have a bit of a clothing hoarding problem, and we shop, and we'll talk about that later. Like, it's a whole bunch of stuff we need to unpack, and she always tries to unpack everything in one video, and there's simply no time, no rhyme or reason, no easy way to keep it all in her head in order. Because all of it was so bad. Let's pickle again. And sometimes the switches get bad. And that's how we know that we haven't quite healed from this stuff yet. Because we're still running from it. A lot of us are. I'm going to go downstairs. And I'm going to go scream really fast. And then I'll be right back. Okay? So, 80s baby, daddy in the Navy, mom kind of messed up already from a past that she didn't like to talk about, okay? So, we were quite understanding about that. Um, After the shot, so I think I jumped something. The molestation started at 8 months, guys. The first time people did bad things to me, I was 8 months old. And the more graphic depiction, I'm not going to do here. Okay? We don't have to go into that. That's something we go into on other channels and other things. That's for people who need to hear how bad it was because it's been that bad for them. And so I don't do that to my audience. Mm-mm. There are some things you'll know when I tell. Just trust me when I tell you things were bad. It was bad. 8 months. It's Annabelle again. If you didn't notice the switch, by the time you get to know me for a while, you'll get to understand the personality switches. If you ever wonder how many of us there are, I do too. But I can tell you for sure, I know at least 15 of us. I know. Uh, so, the 8 months was the molestation. Strangely, whoever was attacking Sabrina when she was 3 years old was not her father. So whoever was attacking her in her crib at the time, and her mother came in and decided to take care of the business with Sabrina, it wasn't her father. It was another different person. And which makes sense because Christine was very friendly. By friendly, I mean she was a bit of a slut. And all of us had gone through that stage, and we never blame Christine for being a bit of a slut. We all make mistakes. We all have dick we wish we could undo. There's so much dick I would push the undo button. Like, can I get my vagina back? Can I get it back? It's like a waste of vagina. So no. She went through the same stupidity that a lot of us go through as young ladies, trying to find our self-worth by being everything a man wants, especially in the South. That's how we're taught. We're taught to just find our self-worth in a man. And if a man thinks we're sexually attractive and whatever he wants us to do, especially when you're raised unprotected, as Sabrina was. Oh, so, just things didn't get easier after 3. After 3 and her father came home, her mother and father were swingers. But in the beginning, her mother was just into, cannabis, things like that. But as she got into the military and when my dad was in the military, our dad, he was stationed in Florida, in Jacksonville, and that's when I remember things getting really bad. That's when they were having swinger parties at the house, and everybody would. And that's when Sabrina started seeing like the white powder residue on the trays, and that's when the cocaine habit started. So that's when. And they lived in Jacksonville, Florida, and so they'd all have to be gathered up at one of the other parents' house, while all the other parents gathered at somebody else's house, for the partying and the sex. She and her brother and her other brother, there was 3 of them at the time, were the only black children in their sect. And the first night, Sabrina had to spend the night at someone named Angie's house. And one of the girls hit her, and she cried because she didn't want to hit her back. Sabrina's not violent. And the person she thought was her friend said, "Fight, fight, nigger and a white. If the white don't win, nobody can." And that's somebody she thought was a close friend of hers. And she just had to smile and cry and go through it and just nod. You'll see a lot of those moments in her life, and she remembers every single one of you. Where she just smiled and nodded, and most of you don't think she remembered. Just like her cousin thought she didn't remember that she used to call Sabrina a little whore ever since Sabrina was about 11 years old. I know this video is completely disjointed. I'm gonna try to keep them to 30 minutes. I'm about 30 minutes right now. I'm gonna upload this. And hi, this is an introduction to us. Stay tuned. There's a lot more to come. Eat them. I say.